Well, let's shift focus now. After years of losses, African e-commerce giant saw gross profit increase by 12.5%. It also saw its user base grow by 12% in 2020 with 6.8 million customers, and that's from 6.1 million in 2019. That means the company added about 700,000 new customers in 2020 compared to the 2 million customers which it acquired the year before. Now, the company's gross merchandise value, which is the total worth of goods sold over a period of time, grew about 23% in the fourth quarter of 2020. Its gross profit reached about $34.1 million in 2020, representing a year-over-year gain of about 12%, as we mentioned. Well, let's now get the story behind those numbers. We're joined by Juliet Anammah. She's the chairwoman at Jumia Nigeria. Great to have you with us on the show today, Madam Anammah. Now, while 2020 was pretty much a challenging year due to COVID-19 disruptions, taking a look at your Q4 numbers, you reported record gross profits, but we also saw that annual active consumers increased at a slower pace compared to 2019. We also saw that order numbers are dropping. Give us some insight into what happened there, and of course the extent to which this pandemic impacted Jumia's business model.
Thank you for having me on the show. I think the results that we've presented both at Q4 and our full year 2020 is really the outcome of very deliberate decisions that we've taken. So one example being a deliberate decision to reduce the promotional intensity on certain types of products that have very low consumer lifetime value. So for example, digital services, particularly airtime recharge, that we used to offer quite a lot of incentives on those. So from towards Q4 2020, we sort of refocused and reduced the promotional intensity on those kinds of products. So you see that playing out there in terms of order volume. So while Q4 2019 versus Q4 2020, you saw that reduction in order volume by 3%, but on a full year basis, it's actually up by 5.1%. The second thing that is also playing out, again, strategic decisions we've taken is around rebalancing our product mix. So we're rebalancing, having more emphasis on everyday type of products that consumers buy frequently and which by nature have a much higher consumer lifetime value. So that plays out in terms of lower average order value, and that reflects in the GMV. But these kinds of products also have a better unit economics for us, which is very, very important.
Right.
And one of the things you mentioned there, if I might just go there, is also when you look at our cost structure. So we really used the year 2020, the COVID period and all that, to double down on financial discipline. So when you look at our full cost base, when you look at our fulfillment costs, you look at our sales and advertising costs, and also look at our general administrative costs, excluding share-based compensation, you see that those have dropped 18%, 34%, 36% respectively. And overall, our adjusted EBITDA is down by 47% year on year.
Well, let's look closer at the outlook for the business. We know 2020 was a year where we saw a lot of online businesses such as Jumia flourishing. Of course, African e-commerce startups are also attracting more funding now, particularly in one of your biggest markets, Nigeria. As you face a new set of competition in e-commerce and of course the logistics market, what are your plans to cement your foothold as the leading player in that key market?
Yeah, I mean, one thing you can be sure is we've been very clear about what our mission is, and we're very, very focused on our mission, right? We're building a platform that is relevant and is very committed to the African economy. And when you look at it from multiple perspectives, we have a deep understanding of the consumer, what the consumer characteristics are, the kinds of products they want, the services they want included there. We have an ecosystem that is relevant to the market. We have marketplace, we have payments, we have logistics. So we're really building a platform that is fit for purpose and customized for the African consumer and for the seller. So there's a whole lot in terms of what we've built into our system, how we design our logistics network. I'm sure you're aware that now we've opened up our logistics to third-party players as well. And when you see the adoption rate, if I look at Jumia Pay, for example, look at our total payment volume, you see that growing year on year. Between 2019 to 2020, we were at 15.6% of GMV coming from Jumia Pay in terms of penetration. We're now at 25.7%. So the adoption is there. And that tells us that a lot of the things we're doing and the decisions we're making are relevant to the consumer. And we will keep building on that. We'll keep building more and more, innovating, depending on environment. Different countries have different characteristics, just to make sure that we're relevant to the consumer. For us, that's all we focus on. The opportunity is vast. The opportunity, we are talking about a market with 1.3 billion consumers, and any competition that helps in terms of increasing the adoption rate for e-commerce is good for Africa, and it's quite welcome.
Quite an interesting discussion, but we do have to leave it there. We have run out of time. But thank you so much, Madam Anammah, for joining us on the show today. That, of course, is Juliet Anammah. She's the chairwoman at Jumia Nigeria.